For the Georgia Bulldogs, Georgia and Alabama coming up next here on the SEC Network.
Al Purnell here, the sausage man. We all like to save money, and have I got a deal for you. Start with a roll of old folks country sausage. Watch me easily slice and remove the wrapper. I like to cook the whole pound, or use our convenient sliced patties and have some cooked for later. Microwave the tasty old folks gravy and serve with eggs and biscuits.
Important to the Tide here today. Why?
It's a must-win for Alabama if they want to get in the conversation for an NCAA at-large bid. This is going to be an NCAA tournament atmosphere here today in Coleman Coliseum against a very good Georgia team. Alabama hadn't lost here yet. If they can win today, they might get a share of the SEC championship.
Here's a look at the Star Watch. Trey Tompkins for Georgia. He was a game-time decision because of an ingrown toenail. Well, the decision has been made. He will start. And Jamichael Green, he's had a great year for Bama.
Two 6'9" juniors who are both in the top 10 in scoring, rebounding, and block shots. Great matchup today.
Starting lineup for Georgia: Dustin Ware, Gerald Robinson, Travis Leslie, Tompkins, and Jeremy Price. And three seniors getting the start for Alabama: Hillman, Davis, and Hines playing their final home game. And also Relaford and Green in the starting five. Doug Sermons, J.B. Caldwell, and Lee Castle are the officials here today. Great atmosphere, no doubt about it, in the final regular season game in Tuscaloosa. Alabama in its home white, Georgia in road black with red trim. Price and Green to take the jump ball. And we are underway at Coleman Coliseum, and Georgia controls the opening tip.
The top defensive team in the SEC is on display here. Alabama man-to-man to start the game.
Georgia coming off its 20th win of the year. 20-point victory over LSU on Wednesday night. And the first points coming from Trey Tompkins. Good to see him out there playing. I know he's had a tough week.
Got a bad toe, but he started off with a great move down low. He turned away from the double team to the baseline, and at 6'10", he's got great touch for a big fella.
Alabama leads the SEC in steals, but the first steal coming from the Georgia Bulldogs, tipped out of bounds. And we've got our first foul. Here's a closer look at the customized Nike tennis shoe for Tompkins. They're trying to protect that ingrown toenail.
Yeah, Stacy Palmore, the assistant coach, told me before the game that it's just a protective device to help Trey Tompkins in the event that somebody steps on his foot or hits that toe. Just give him a little bit more padding and support.
First foul on Scenario Hillman, the senior for Alabama, getting the start here on senior day for the Tide. Ware for three, bangs it home. Dustin Ware had 15 points on 5 threes against LSU on Wednesday night.
Dustin Ware is one of the most underrated basketball players in this SEC this year. 44% three-point shooter, and he leads the league in assist turnover ratio. Tremendous basketball guard for Mark Fox's team.
Great job starting out here. Georgia 5-0 against teams from the West this year. They lead at 5-0. Green in and out. And Alabama still scoreless.
That's Alabama's Achilles heel. It has been all year, shooting the basketball out on the perimeter. They've got to find some shots today.
Trey Tompkins will give it off here for Robinson. We've talked throughout this season what an addition Robinson has been this year for Georgia. He has meant so much to this team.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best impact players of any team in the league, has been Gerald Robinson. And you see the other guy inside, Jeremy Price, the senior, who is just as effective scoring in the low post as is his running mate, Trey Tompkins.
He is 6'8", 270, but he is smooth for his size. Inside, Green tracks it back down in the corner. Long shot, three on the way and good for Charvez Davis. He has been spotty from three lately, 1 for 16 from outside the arc before that three.
First three-point shot of the game, and Charvez Davis does what Alabama really needs them to do, is make some long-range jump shots today.
7-3, Georgia on top. That got the crowd into it. Ware trying to answer back. Off the heel, and Green rips down the rebound.
Alabama needs to run today.
Alley-oop. Now that was off the mark. That was intended for Hillman. Here comes Georgia. Robinson lays it up and in.
How about the extra gear right there by Gerald Robinson? What speed.
Out of control, Alabama throwing it back into the back court, and this is going to belong to Georgia. Mark Fox has coached Georgia to its first 20-win season that counts since 1996-97. The 01-02 season was wiped out by the pay-for-play and academic scandal under Jim Herrick. He's had a nice run as a head coach in his career.
He has done a tremendous job at Georgia, and he's got the Georgia fans very excited about this basketball program. If Georgia can win today, this will be only the 7th time in their history that they've won 10 or more SEC games.
Tompkins tried to tip that one in from Robinson. Georgia 4 of 6 from the field so far. Here is Hines. Inside, the senior gets it back out. And Trevor Relaford, he has bounced back after back-to-back poor games, coming off a 17-point effort against Florida. Nice job by Travis Leslie getting his hand in the passing lane, but Relaford comes back and takes it away. Boy, he is quick. The freshman. And they can't finish. Breakneck pace. Oh, that's going to be a goaltend. Leslie interfered on that play by Robinson.
Well, watch the strip right here by the freshman Relaford against Travis Leslie. And then the other way, breakneck pace on the rim. Leslie with the putback, but it was whistled for offensive basket interference. Up and down we go. NCAA-like atmosphere here this afternoon, Trey.
How athletic is Leslie? I mean, compared to the rest of the SEC. Even though that didn't count, you can just see he's got hops.
No, I think he's probably the best athlete in the league. And as you see, Jermichael Green knocked down a facing jumper, big for the Crimson Tide. But a lot of people compare Travis Leslie to the great Dominique Wilkins. I think that's a stretch, but he is a tremendous athlete and having a great season for the Bulldogs.
Green brings Bama within 4. Green finished a rebound shy of a double-double against Florida. He had 10 and 9 the other night, his 6th double-double of the year. Would have been his 7th, I should say.
Alabama's doubling with Jermichael Green down low on Trey Tompkins.
Nice pass from Price to Tompkins.
Yeah, Jermichael Green got lost. He left to go help on the ball screen, and that left Jeremy Price open. When Jeremy Price got help, he kicked it off, and Tompkins with the finish. Nice interior passing by the 2 Georgia big men who are both not only big and strong, but very skilled.
Here's Alabama down 11-5 here at home. They've lost to Ole Miss and Florida in back-to-back games. 3 in and out for Davis. And a foul on Alabama. It's going to go against Green with 14:46 to go here in the first.
Yeah, Jermichael Green got lost. That created the 2-on-1. Great feed by Price to Tompkins. Georgia early doing the job in Tuscaloosa.
Sun Life Financial has never taken government bailout money, yet no one knows our name. That's about to change.
So you'll pay for the tour, but I have to change my name.
No, you're still KC, but from now on, they will be the Sun Life Band.
It's funky.
Sooner or later, you'll know our name. Sun Life Financial.
It's another perfect day out here today.
Can I get you anything else?
We gotta get back to work.
On the move. We even saw a kid taking a bath in a water fountain. Whoa, I spoke too soon. This just in. A freak storm is blowing into the area. We're going to be experiencing hurricane-force winds and dense fog, followed by sheets of driving rain. Stay inside, hunker down, grab a beer. This is going to be a long one.
Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here.
We're receiving reports of hail the size of... Oh, boy.
It's comparable to the Camry.
Why do so many car companies compare themselves to Camry? Maybe it's because Camry is the #1 selling car in America. Or because Camry was named an excellent value by IntelliChoice.com. Now get 0% APR financing for 60 months on a new 2011 Toyota Camry plus $500 bonus cash and make no payments for 3 months. Plus, get Toyota Care. We're #1 for a reason. Come see for yourself. Hurry in for the best selection.
Not all parts are created equal, which is something to think about considering there are tens of thousands of different parts. Now, I can tell you the cat parts are the absolute best out there because it's true. But I can't really show you because it's hard to see the difference. But believe me, that difference is what sets Caterpillar apart.
Alabama with a chance to finish 12-4 and tie for the SEC regular season title with Florida if they can get a win here today. Let's take a look at the principal financial group edge to the game.
Well, the Georgia Bulldogs are second to Florida in rebounding this year in the SEC. They need to control the backboards with the bigger, more physical Tompkins and Price. And Alabama make 5 3-point shots today. They've already got one with Charvez Davis. They average 5 3-points made here in Coleman Coliseum. I think they've got to do that this afternoon, Clay, to have a chance to beat a very talented Georgia team.
Joe, Alabama, one of just 42 teams in the entire country averaging less than 5 threes per game. And like you said, so far so good.
Yeah, they've struggled shooting the ball on the road.
Nice move. Leslie knifing to the basket. Nobody slowing him down.
Georgia executes their half-court offense as good as anyone in this league. Very well coached by Mark Fox. They have seniors, veterans, guys that really know how to play the game, and they play extremely well together. They lead the league in assists.
It's been a sluggish start here for Alabama. They've already got 4 turnovers. And they trail here 13-5 in the early going. Davis fires it inside to Green. Over the top of Tompkins, got it and one.
Anthony Grant knows when they go man-to-man, which is Georgia's defense right now, he's going to take it right inside to his best player, Jermichael Green, who posts up on Tompkins. No double team, draws the foul, and knocks down the baby right-hand jumper. And Clay, I think probably the #1 key for Alabama's emergence this year as a team to contend in the league is the maturity of this young man right here from Montgomery, Alabama, Jermichael Green.
Well, you remember earlier in the season, Joe, that he was suspended by Anthony Grant for 3 games. Grant trying to send a message to his junior, and Green really got the message, and he has been a leader ever since.
He has, Clay. He responded in a big, big way after he came back from that suspension. And I'll tell you right now, he's in the conversation for SEC Player of the Year.
Robinson with the travel, and Georgia turns it over.
Now you see Robinson patting his chest saying, that's my fault. Mark Fox doesn't like that because that's out of character of the Georgia team. A little out of control and impatient in their half-court offense on that possession.
Alabama, one of 17 teams in the country unbeaten at home, trying to keep it that way here today against Georgia.
Leslie faked the double team on Green that time. Nice show help by Travis Leslie.
Green. Well, he is mugged going to the basket and thrown down hard by Chris Barnes.
Well, Tony Mitchell, you see, is just too quick for the bigger, stronger Chris Barnes, and Mitchell recognized that matchup and drove him right to the basket. When he got by him, Barnes felt like he had to grab him to keep Mitchell from laying the ball in.
So Mitchell at the free throw line, a 69% foul shooter. We have talked so much about Mitchell and his athleticism this year. He has been very good defensively. I know you like his defense even maybe more a little bit than his offensive time.
Well, I do. You know, he's so active and quick on the defensive end. He's 3rd in the league in steals, and he's 12th, Clay, in block shots. And that's an amazing combination. It shows that he's big and can guard the big people inside, play around the goal, but he can also come out on the floor and be a factor defensively on the perimeter.
Georgia leading it by 4. They've got 4 SEC road wins this year. And the road was awful for the Georgia Bulldogs last year. There's a whistle and a foul here on Alabama. This is going to go against Chris Hines. That's #1 on Hines.
Well, both teams are playing man-to-man, and both teams want their offenses to go inside out. They're taking the ball inside. They're putting pressure on the defenses down in the low block.
And this is what we were alluding to, the road last year, 0-11, 7-3 this year.
Yeah.
And very good against SEC opponents.
And that stat right there, that graphic is the telling tale for what Mark Fox has done in bringing Georgia to the brink of an NCAA tournament bid and a 20-win season this year, which he has right now.
Now the floater.
Busy day in lacrosse. How about the number 3 team in the nation, Maryland, going up against the defending national champion Duke Blue Devils. First quarter, Dukies down 2-1. David Lawson from Tom Montelli ties things up at 2. Still a 2-2 game. Later in the first, Travis Reed, Joe Cummings, his second goal of the day. Terps go back in front 3-2. Second quarter, same score. Christian Walsh to Zach Howell. His 11th goal of the season. We're tied at 3, and then second quarter, Jordan Wolf to Jake Tripucka. Duke the 5-4 halftime lead. Hi, and welcome into the Warrior Halftime Report. Kevin Connors with you. We'll take you back to second half lacrosse action coming up, but let's get you caught up on the world of college basketball. Kansas and Missouri going at it. First half, Jayhawks in front with the early 7-2 lead. How about Markieff Morris? Look out below. Missouri 17-0 at home this season. But, of course, going up against the number 2 team in the nation, all sorts of weapons can hurt you on Kansas. That's Marcus Morris splitting the double team. And how about that acrobatic shot? He'd make the free throw. Jayhawks led 30-20. Second half, Mizzou down by just 1. It's Lawrence Bowers. Tigers took a 1-point lead, and then Thomas Robinson right back at you. With a win, Kansas wraps up the 1 seed in the Big 12 tournament. They lead this game right now by 13. Louisville and West Virginia, Joe Mazzulla on senior day in Morgantown. First half, Mountaineers down by 5. Kevin Jones, no, but John Flowers, why not? Mountaineers back within 3. Rick Pitino looking on. He said, get the rock to Kyle Kuric. Third straight three-pointer. Louisville led by 2. Same score, West Virginia with the rock. Jones, nice second effort. He had a double-double in the first half alone, 15 points, 12 rebounds. Mountaineers led by 2 at the half. Second half, Preston Knowles forcing the turnover. Chris Smith to Terrence Jenkins. Basket and a foul. Cardinals lead this one under 4 minutes by 5. Well, 3 teams will punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament today. First in the Big South Conference Championship, UNC Asheville and Coastal Carolina. 4.
Robinson to Leslie. Price on the backside. And there's a foul underneath, and they're going to get Hines. And that is the second on the senior Chris Hines. But Alabama has tied it up after falling behind early.
Better ingredients, better pizza is not a slogan. It is a way of life.
Papa's in the house. Get Papa John's new hearty Italian meats pizza with Italian ham, pepperoni, salami, and spicy Italian sausage. Just $11 for a large. Order now at thenewpapajohns.com.
Perfect. If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now to get the new talking meter. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door. For free.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does it take 2 to tango?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Nip it every night at 10 and 10:30 on CW21.
Let's see, Les? Oh, looks like you qualify for a good student discount.
Wes, taking driver's ed gets you a driver training discount.
And Mom, you more than qualify for a multi-car discount.
No matter what's your situation, your Alpha agent has a customized policy that's priced just right.
And Jess, pass your test, we'll sign you up too.
we're always right there with you, looking out for your well-being and your wallet. For a plan built just for you by a local agent, call Alpha.
Back at Coleman Coliseum, where the Tide are enjoying their 5th sellout of the year, Joe.
Yeah, and their 4th straight sellout here in Coleman Coliseum in SEC games. And these Alabama fans are really excited about the possibility that Alabama could possibly win the SEC regular season championship today, depending on what Florida does at Vanderbilt.
They won the West outright. 3rd time in team history. They have already secured a bye on Thursday at the SEC tournament. But if they lose this today, that at-large bid could go bye-bye.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if Alabama does not win today, they're probably going to have to win the tournament in Atlanta. But I will say this, Clay. There are, the seeding for the NCAA tournament, in my mind, across the country, the teams are soft, very soft. And that might help Alabama slip in there. They've had a great year, and 11-5. If they lose today, they would be 11-5 in a power conference like the SEC. That's still very impressive.
Price got them both at the line. What hurts Alabama, their RPI is 89. Their strength of schedule is 161. They've got a lot of wins over poor teams.
And they've won 8 games against the West, and the average West RPI is 145. And that's where the problem is for Alabama.
Here's Alabama now with possession, down 2.
See the Georgia zone.
Relaford, an open look for 3. Off the back iron. And the rebound pulled down by Connor Nolte.
Alabama 1 for 4 from 3.
Brantley, his triple, no good. And he didn't follow his shot, left a free rebound for Relaford.
Best way to beat the zone is run the ball down the floor in transition.
Working hard, and he'll get to the line.
What happens, Clay, when you push the ball in transition? There's no block out by the defense. Hillman came from the weak side over Sherrod. Brantley used his athletic ability to jump up and get the rebound. And the senior for Alabama, Scenario Hillman, with the bucket, will go to the line, a chance for the three-point play.
Hillman, one of 3 seniors honored before the game here today, who play regularly for Alabama. The other, Charvez Davis and Chris Hines. Alabama goes in front. It's the first lead for the Crimson Tide.
Soft pressure, just trying to slow Georgia down. And Alabama will now stay man-to-man. They zoned a few possessions. Now back to their bread and butter. Nice double by Andrew Steele.
Gets it back. Right hand, short. And the rebound brought down by Steele as Ben Eblin is in the game now. He'll bring it into the front court. He is the backup point guard to Relaford.
And that was a classic Alabama defensive possession. Double the post, force it back out, block out on the shot, and hold Georgia to only 1 attempt.
Jermichael Green poked away, but right into the hands of Tony Mitchell. A win today is number 20 on the year for Alabama. It'll be the 25th time in program history. The lob, no good. And Tompkins out there with that sore foot, brings down the rebound. Georgia down a point, just over 8 minutes to go here, opening half. Georgia hit 4 of its first 5 field goal attempts since that 2 for 9. Nolte left alone. Got it.
Wow. How about the junior transfer from Furman? Comes off the bench and knocks down a big 3-point shot for Georgia.
You'll remember early in the season, Nolte was playing quite a bit because Tompkins was rehabbing his ankle. And he hasn't played a lot since Tompkins has been healthy, but getting some early minutes here.
And that's what he's good at. He's an excellent outside shooter, good skill player. Comes off the bench with a big shot for the Bulldogs.
Hillman called for the carry, and there's a timeout on the floor. Back and forth we go. Georgia up by a point now with 7:35 to go in the half.
It's the end of the line for engine deposits. Haviland with Deposit Shield. The deposits that attack your engine every time you drive can cause friction, robbing it of performance and fuel efficiency. Haviland shields it, because a clean engine runs better. Defend your engine. Haviland with Deposit Shield.
It's Lobster Fest. The one time of year Red Lobster creates so many irresistible ways to treat yourself to lobster. Like our new lobster and shrimp trio with a Parmesan lobster bake. Our decadent lobster lover's dream with both sweet Maine and buttery rock lobster tails. And 11 more choices, each served with a salad and unlimited Cheddar Bay biscuits. Come celebrate Lobster Fest right now at Red Lobster.
It's time to dream again. But why rebuild your financial future alone? For more than 130 years, the Principal has provided retirement, investment, and insurance solutions to help you move forward. We even created a website full of ways to help rediscover your dreams and start planning. Visit principal.com/dreams or ask your advisor about rebuilding your dreams with the Principal.
It's game time. And everyone wants to get their hands on new Crystal Game Time wings. The best wings in the game. Hard-hitting flavors and winning taste make any time game time. New Crystal Game Time wings. The meatiest, juiciest wings in the game. Hands down. Only from Crystal. Try some today. Nothing like it.
Final game of the regular season in the SEC, but a lot riding on this one. Georgia up by a point. Georgia 9-6, playing for the second spot in the East as we look at news and notes. And the first round bye comes to the first two seeds. Vandy and Kentucky also 9-6. Florida and Vandy tonight. Kentucky at Tennessee tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, Alabama, we know what they're playing for. Their NCAA tournament life. Shot at co-champs with Florida in the SEC, but Georgia, if they can win today and get the 2 seed in the East, right now there are 4 teams that are fighting for that spot. That's a bye in the first round of the SEC tournament in Atlanta. The last time the tournament was in Atlanta, you know who won it, Clay?
These hairy dogs.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Tompkins, no good. And Mitchell with the rebound. Now, up there it says that player of the year, that can be finalized this weekend if somebody really stands out. Who do you like right now?
Well, there's 5 or 6 guys in the conversation. It's the most wide open it's been here in a long time. I personally like right now John Jenkins from Vanderbilt, who's just had a very consistent year scoring and shooting the ball and leads the SEC in scoring.
He has been fun to watch. And he's a local product outside of Nashville. It's been a good story for the Commodores. Green, roll into the hoop, and he'll get to the line for a chance at a 3-point play.
Well, they throw the ball right into the middle of the zone right here. And Jermichael Green at 6'9", he has the ball handling skills to drive it into the opening right there. That's a defensive breakdown by Georgia. It kind of parted like the Red Sea, and at 6'9", Jermichael Green, good knifing right to the backboard and can get it in the basket.
Place sold out, but it gets quiet as a church on Sunday morning. Green with the 3-point play. You know, it was the last home game for Alabama where he tipped it in against Auburn with 0.3 of a second left. This place went crazy.
Absolutely.
After that.
It was off a Tony Mitchell drive and miss. But Jermichael Green has clearly been the leader and the MVP of this year's Alabama team.
That was a bad home game, though, for Bama. He had 11 field goal makes, 19 turnovers. They're hoping for a better showing here today in the final home game. Price through the hands, out of bounds. Alabama has it back.
Yeah, you can see Georgia again trying to force the ball into Jeremy Price that time inside, just mishandling the basketball. Alabama very conscious defensively of finding out who's going to get it and how they're going to adjust defensively, if they're going to double team down low or hedge and get back.
Hillman had it poked from behind by Robinson, hangs onto it. On the baseline, Green gets it to roll down.
Tremendous bounce pass underneath the Georgia zone by Scenario Hillman that allowed his taller player, Jermichael Green, to finish at the rim.
Green, the first to double figures. He's got 10. Georgia, the last time up the floor, turned it over for the 6th time. Here, in and out. Now it's an empty possession for the Dogs as Leslie comes up empty. And Alabama, which trailed by as many as 8 in this first half, now leads at 21-17 with a chance to add to it.
Yeah, they forced Georgia out of the zone, back man-to-man, and of course, when that happens, Anthony Grant, he's going to play his power game, trying to take the ball inside to Mitchell and to Jermichael Green. Georgia now back zone. They've switched from man to zone during the possession.
Hillman for 3. No.
That's not the shot they want.
Now, Davis, who is the three-point shooter, gave it up for Hillman, and he took the 3 shot. Austin Ware leads the nation in assist-to-turnover ratio, gets it into the corner for Tompkins.
What a great job. Not only a double team, but a hard trap caused that turnover.
Green for the slam. Timeout, Georgia. Well, we've talked about the highlight reel dunks this year for Mitchell, but this one is from Green, and it all starts with a double team.
Watch how far they push Trey Tompkins out away from the goal. Watch this. Pushed him all the way back into the corner with the hard trap. The pass was intercepted by Hillman, and they run it up the floor. And a little stufferino by the junior, Jermichael Green for the Crimson Tide.
Since the 13:53 mark of this half, Alabama has been on an 18-4 run, and we talked about the fact that Coach Grant was giving some seniors a chance to start here today, and we could kind of see that things were a little out of sync in the early minutes, but now they've settled in.
They have, and Scenario Hillman, give him a lot of credit. The senior who is a Georgia native out of Irwinton, Georgia, Wilkinson County High School, who started this game as a senior, has given Anthony Grant and the Alabama team some excellent minutes on both ends of the floor.
Hillman, 170 career steals, second in school history, 4 shy of that school mark.
Alabama out of the timeout. Anthony Grant switches back to the zone. He continues to change the defenses to try to keep Georgia off balance.
Dante Williams is in now, and he gives it to Leslie for the slam.
Now you see the athleticism of Travis Leslie moving extremely well without the basketball to make himself available for the pass right by the goal.
He had a double-double against LSU on Wednesday night, 14 points, 10 rebounds. He averages 14 and 7. Green already with a dozen. He's posting up. They work it around for Hillman in the corner. For Green, free throw line. How's his shot? Well, Mitchell tried to follow with the slam. Hillman throws it up. Loose on the baseline. Who's got it? It's going to belong to the Dogs.
Timeout on the floor.
Look at the numbers on Jermichael Green. 12 on 5 of 8.
Well, he's done a great job of shooting the ball, facing and driving to the goal to draw the foul, and he leads Alabama right now to a 4-point lead.
Over 20 million customers have put their faith in Sun Life Financial. We should be a household name, and we will be.
So you're suggesting that we change our name from Florida, the Sunshine State, to
Florida?
Yeah.
The Sun Life State.
The posters will be so cool.
Sooner or later, you'll know our name. Sun Life Financial.
Al Purnell here, the Sausage Man. We all like to save money, and have I got a deal for you. Start with a roll of Old Folks Country sausage. Watch me easily slice and remove the wrapper. I like to cook the whole pound, or use our convenient sliced patties and have some cooked for later. Microwave the tasty Old Folks gravy and serve with eggs and biscuits. An Old Folks Country Sausage breakfast, you can feed 4 for just under $7, because it's good.
Welcome back to Geico Radio. It's savings on the radio.
Call us, Steve. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I just got a free rate quote on Geico.com. Saved a ton, and it only took me 5 minutes and 12 seconds. I was wondering, is that some sort of record?
That's a good question. Let's have a look.
Not quite. Someone's got you beat by 8 seconds.
Still, I mean, that's quite fast.
Well, what if I told you I only use one hand?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Need a little cash to get you over the top. Don't look no further than the Quick Pawn Shop. We buy gold, we buy TVs, and on title loans, the first month's free. We're helping you get back on top.
Take your tax refund to Quick Pawn and they'll cash it free. That's right, free with any in-store purchase. Quick Pawn has jewelry, band equipment, and tons of electronics like TVs and DVD players.
At the Quick Pawn Shop.
Kevin Connors in studio. Coming up on the Cellular South Halftime Report, we'll show you how Mississippi State and South Carolina are faring in their SEC tournament tune-ups. We'll preview the SEC women's semifinals and what's happening to Missouri today that hasn't happened all season. Plus, a terrific finish in the Big East between Louisville and West Virginia, guys.
All right, Kevin, we'll see you and Kyle at the half as March Madness is underway. And we're getting a little feel of that here in Tuscaloosa today. It's 23-19 with 3:36 to go before halftime. Rebounding. Let's talk about that. Georgia out-rebounds everybody. In fact, in league play, out-rebounding opponents by about 7 per game, and they're getting beat right now.
Yeah, 14-11. Alabama leads on the boards, and Alabama outscoring Georgia on points in the paint. And I think one of the keys for the Crimson Tide, they've kept Travis Leslie off of the offensive board here in the first half. He's one of the better offensive rebounders in the league.
Georgia started 4 of 5 from the field. They're 4 of 13 since. They have cooled way off. Robinson can't get it to go. Wow. And Georgia gets a break here as it rolls off. Last touch by Alabama.
Both teams have taken the ball to the basket on the drive, but they're very good big people on both teams that are tall, long, and have shot blocking capabilities.
Here's Dustin Ware running the point. Just 31 turnovers on the year, and he's averaging 33 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's phenomenal in his efficiency on the offensive end is Dustin Ware. And here's another guy, the freshman, Trevor Relaford, running the break for the Tide.
Star out of Kansas City. Of course, his brother Travis at Kansas. One of the more sought-after point guards out of high school last year. Here's Davis, already has 1 3 today. Misses that one. Leslie goes up and snatches it out of midair. Georgia. Robinson throws it into the corner. Leslie rattles out. Boy, Georgia can't buy a hoop right now.
Tight rims here in Coleman Coliseum. Georgia has had a number of balls just go in and out. Can't get a break on those outside shots.
Perhaps the final home game for Hines, Davis, and Hillman, the seniors for Alabama. They certainly hope it is. Otherwise, it means the NIT for Alabama. Steele in the game. Here is Hines at the free throw line. 10 on the shot clock. Davis, 5 to shoot. Pulls up. Got it. That's inside the three-point line for Charvez Davis.
Well, they rushed his three-point shot. Did Gerald Robinson, and Davis took it on the right hand. Now, he's a left-hander, so that was a tough pull-up jump shot off the right-hand dribble, but a big one for Alabama.
Davis, a 34% three-point shooter. That one from 2. Alabama leads it by 6. Under a minute and a half to go here in the first half. This half has moved right along. Robinson hops into the paint looking for help. Floats it up and in. Boy, Georgia needed that.
Alabama backed away from Robinson, and he stayed with it with his free foot off the pivot and just threw a little runner right into the basket. That's a big play, and Georgia, again, with the 2-3 zone, they do not think Alabama can beat them from the outside.
Here's Hines. 45 seconds to go. Mitchell, baseline jumper, Tony Mitchell.
That's where Alabama's effective against the zone, either in the middle when we saw Jermichael Green or down on the baseline with Tony Mitchell.
4-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Leslie hands off, and Williams was bumped hard. No whistle, and Alabama has it.
Interesting no call here by the official. Let's watch this. Looks like he got all ball. That's interesting. Andrew Steele against Williams. Great block from behind. Tough break for Georgia there.
Timeout with 23 seconds to go. All season long, Champion Apparel has been showcasing the tradition and history of the SEC. Champion, how you play. And today we talk about Coleman Coliseum, where, as you and I have mentioned, they've had a nice run here this season. They're on their 4th straight sellout. 15-0 at home this year. One of 17 teams in the country undefeated on their home floor.
Yeah, and I had an opportunity to go through the renovated Coleman Coliseum with offices in the back, locker room, practice facility with John Gilbert, the Associate Athletic Director. They're spending $24 million on this facility. It's going to be first class in every way for men's basketball here.
You can vote on your favorite SEC tradition. Go to facebook.com/champion and click on the poll tab. 27-21, Alabama leads it, and they've got a chance for the last shot of the half.
They're going to do it against the 3-2 zone. Leslie is at the point.
Crowd helping out. 5 on the clock. Steele going in. Now that might have been partially blocked by Williams. Thrown up at the buzzer and then tipped up by Mitchell. And that's going to do it for the half. 27-21, Alabama leads it, even though they trailed by 8 at one point.
Yeah, I think Tompkins' toe is bothering him. Jermichael Green has had a big-time first half.
22-8 run for Alabama to close the half. Now, Kevin and Kyle in the studio.
All right, Clay, Joe, thanks so much, guys. We promised it would be a good one. We told you all.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights presented by Papa John's. And Trey Tompkins playing through a sore toe. Had 4 points for Georgia in that first half.
Yeah, he doesn't look himself, Clay. He had the first basket of the game for Georgia. And then the nice feed by Gerald Robinson to Dustin Ware, who knocked down the big 3 early for the Georgia Bulldogs. Alabama started off with a 3-point basket by Charvez Davis. And then they went to their money man, Jermichael Green, faced up against the Georgia zone, knocked down the 15-foot jump shot, and then in transition off the feet from Tony Mitchell. Jermichael Green with the flush.
Green with 12 points in that first half. As we look at the first half stats brought to you by Crystal, nothing like it. And points in the paint has been a big advantage this year for Alabama. 14-10 for Georgia in that first half. You noticed this during halftime, Joe, that Leslie, no offensive rebounds in that first half for Georgia.
Yeah, he is 4th in the league in offensive rebounding. Tremendous athlete. He had 0 offensive boards for Georgia in the first half, and I give a lot of credit to Alabama, their game plan, and keeping him off the glass.
Now Tompkins is fouled underneath, and it's going to go against Jermichael Green. That's number 2 on him. There is Tompkins, and you can see that left shoe has a protective coating on the toe because he had an ingrown toenail removed this week.
I don't think there's any question that his foot's sore. He's not himself. Mark Sloniker, the former Georgia player who's doing radio on the Georgia Bulldog Network, told me he didn't look like he had the same lift in his jump, and we can see that, but he's a gritty guy. He knows how important today's game is for his team, and he's trying to fight through the pain and give Georgia some offense inside.
I got to tip my hat to him. I get ingrown hair shaving, and I got to call in sick for work. He's playing through it here today. 4-point lead. Alabama on top. Here's Mitchell from 3. Strong, and there's Tompkins going up. There's some lift.
Well, he's big. He's about 6'10", long arms, and he's physically very strong. And even with a bad wheel, I think Trey Tompkins can still be very effective here in the second half for the Dogs.
Tompkins, that was blocked by Green. Robinson, the putback, no good. Backside tip in by Tompkins.
Stayed with it. You could see he didn't have the same lift. Got blocked by Jermichael Green, but stayed active. He's a very intelligent player. And Trey Tompkins with a big putback right there for Georgia.
Georgia back within 2. We talked to Coach Fox, and he loves Tompkins' IQ, too. He just talks about how smart of a basketball player he is, but there he picks up the personal on the reach-in.
Yeah, you can watch. Jermichael Green's going to get the best of him there. Didn't have the same lift on that, but he moves to the weak side of the board and then stays after it. The long arms, tips it in off the banking board. That was the key right there.
Tompkins, the team's leading scorer and rebounder at 16 and 8 per game. Relaford on the baseline, looking for help, got it into the corner. And now Mitchell will bring it out top for Davis.
Georgia zones on underneath out of bounds. Look at this. Great job getting it to Jermichael Green in the middle of the zone, and he knifes it to the goal on the dribble.
Second foul on Jeremy Price. Hey, Alabama fans, plan your trip to San Juan, Puerto Rico for the 5th annual Puerto Rico Tip-Off, November 17th through the 20th. Go to PuertoRicoTipoff.com for more details.
It's a good field down there in Puerto Rico.
Never been.
Great tournament. Our good friend Missy Beatrice, who works for ESPN, she'll be down there running that event.
I got to imagine that when you go, you take your golf clubs. You take them about everywhere.
Absolutely.
Now that failed to click. Jermichael Green going up on the alley-oop, and here comes Georgia into the front court. Alabama by a deuce. 2 minutes into this first half. Lobbed underneath for Price. He is hemmed in by Hines on a baseline. And out of bounds, touched by Hines. And Robinson will fire it in for Georgia.
Robinson threw the lob from the middle of the floor where there's no ability for the defense to help. And Alabama recovered nicely. Hines just jammed Price up against the baseline.
Here's Tompkins battling with Hines. A little strong, and Green rips it down.
You can see what the game plan is for Mark Fox. They are attacking inside with their best player, Trey Tompkins. And back zone defense, they're going to challenge Alabama to beat them from the three-point arc.
Davis from three. He got that one in the first half, and he starts off the second half hitting his first triple.
Well, we said in the open, if Alabama can make 5 three-point shots, they have a chance against a very talented Georgia team. We'll see if that's the case.
8 points now for Charvez Davis. He's got a pair of triples. Leslie on the cut for Price, and he is fouled. And it's on Mitchell. First on Tony Mitchell.
The thing I like about the Georgia offense, they are always looking to pass the ball toward the basket. They have cutters to the goal. They run the little flex screen with Leslie, or they're trying to post up Tompkins or Price inside, constantly putting pressure on the defense.
Georgia down 5. This has been a big year historically for Georgia. They have not had many 20-win seasons. They've already got one.
Whoa. I thought that was over the back on Tompkins, but they called Alabama right there. Michael Green didn't see it.
And that's their third on Green.
That's huge right there. Alabama can't afford to lose him.
And now Georgia wants a timeout. This crowd not happy with the officials. Their third personal on Jermichael Green.
With an A+ credit rating in good times and bad, Sun Life Financial should be famous. We're working on it.
So you're seriously proposing we change our name to Sun Life Valley?
Do we still get to go skiing?
Sooner or later, you'll know our name. Sun Life Financial.
Better ingredients, better pizza is not a slogan. It is a way of life.
Papa's in the house. Get Papa John's new hearty Italian meats pizza with Italian ham, pepperoni, salami, and spicy Italian sausage. Just $11 for a large. Order now at the new papajohns.com.
Perfect.
Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now to get the new talking meter. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door for free.
Not all parts are created equal, which is something to think about, considering there are tens of thousands of different parts. Now, I can tell you that cat parts are the absolute best out there because it's true, but I can't really show you because it's hard to see the difference. But believe me, that difference is what sets Caterpillar apart.
Alabama's got a 5-point lead, but their star player, Jermichael Green, just picked up his third.
Yeah, tough off-the-ball foul. And watch when Barnes goes inside of Green, he takes his right hand and shoves him out of the way. And that was the call by Lee Cassell, the official. And Jermichael Green on the bench with 3 fouls. That is a tough break for the Crimson Tide.
And Georgia has a height advantage anyway. You take Green out of the mix, who's 6'8", and Georgia really towers over Alabama.
They do. They have size and strength inside on almost anyone they play, but especially this Alabama team is a little more of a finesse team with Mitchell and Green.
Robinson moves in. His jumper is strong. Missed everything, and the crowd will get on top of him for the air ball. Relaford for Davis. He's got 2 threes. Mitchell to follow. Boy, Mitchell almost tipped that back in. He is so dynamic above the rim.
Missed opportunity. They had a wide open 3 look for Charvez Davis. Couldn't get it to go, and Mitchell just mistimed his jump and couldn't get it off the glass.
Alabama 2 of 10 now from outside the arc. Both threes from Davis. And Tompkins with the slam.
Chris Barnes, number 4 for Georgia, literally blocked Tony Mitchell out of that play. Just rooted him right out of the lane with kind of a blockout move. There was no call on the play, and it allowed Tompkins to get all the way to the basket.
Mitchell, good pass for Hines. Can't finish. Got his own rebound out of bounds and poked out by Georgia.
Watch this right here on the drive. Watch Chris Barnes, number 4, just literally root his defender, Chris Hines, out of the lane with his backside, and Tompkins just opened up the lane all the way to the basket.
Tompkins 6 points and 3 rebounds here in the second half already. He has picked up his play, even though, again, he's playing with that sore toe on his left foot.
Since the 5-minute mark of the first half, Georgia has played almost exclusively zone defense, which has been the most effective defense against Alabama here in the last 2 weeks.
Relaford splits the defense, lost the handle. Tracked it down somehow in the corner, but he was on the line. It belongs to Georgia with 15:42 to play.
Haviland with Deposit Shield. The deposits that attack your engine every time you drive can cause friction, robbing it of performance and fuel efficiency. Haviland shields it. Because a clean engine runs better. Defend your engine. Haviland with Deposit Shield.
It's comparable to Toyota. Our car.
Why do so many car companies compare themselves to Toyota? Maybe it's because Toyota is the #1 choice among consumers. Or because 80% of Toyotas sold in the last 20 years are still on the road today. Now get a new 2011 Toyota Tundra with 0% APR financing and make no payments for 3 months. Plus, get Toyota Care with complimentary maintenance and roadside assistance. We're #1 for a reason. Come see for yourself. Hurry in for the best selection.
Brittany rents a new apartment.
She had the perfect home.
That is mice poop.
Yes.
Until she got some unwanted roommates.
Birds, mice, even hornets. That's a dead rat frying.
I believe that's a mouse.
Lady, are you kidding me?
On the next Swift Justice with Nancy Grace.
Monday at 5 on CW21. The SEC Showdown begins March 10th in the Georgia Dome. Join us for an SEC tournament preview Tuesday night at 10 on CW21.
Your love is over me, attacking me viciously in the sweet way that's loving to me. Give some diamond rings, a car that's nothing to me. You send a picture, a mail package, something to me. I said, lips are the softest. It's going to win it, get driven by the fastest.
Mountain Dew. It's different on the mountain.
Alabama by 3, 15:42 to go here in Tuscaloosa. Here's our Haviland defensive shield, and Alabama has the best defense in the SEC, holding opponents to under 59 points per game. That's 7th in the nation, and they've held Georgia to 27 here so far.
Well, they've been leading the nation, or leading this league, I should say, one of the top 5 teams in the nation in scoring defense all year. Has Anthony Grant's team and in SEC play giving up about 61 points a game. The problem is the last 3 games for Alabama against Auburn, Ole Miss, and Florida, they have only scored 55 points a game. So the offense has been the problem for the Crimson Tide.
A win today, and Bama has its 25th 20-win season in program history. Georgia already at 20. And mentioned it a little bit ago, there haven't been many 20-win seasons in Georgia history.
Yeah, this is only the 7th time in 79 years of basketball at the University of Georgia that they've had a 20-win season. So Mark Fox certainly doing a tremendous job in his 2nd year building the Georgia program back to a championship caliber team.
Price is fouled by Hines. And that's the 3rd on Chris Hines. And you mentioned Coach Fox, and before coming to Athens, had a nice run at Nevada.
He did. You know, he worked under Trent Johnson, the LSU coach at Nevada, and one of the interesting things about him, after he finished a 3-year stint at the University of Washington, he took a year off. Went to University of Kansas to get his master's degree, and while he was there, Mark Fox spent the entire year watching the Kansas basketball practices under Roy Williams, and you can see a lot of the Roy Williams influence in his coaching now here at Georgia.
Got them both. And now Alabama with a pair of big men in foul trouble. Jermichael Green with 3, Chris Hines with 3. Tide lead it by a point. 5 minutes into the 2nd half. Relaford without a point here today. Running the point for the Tide. Steele thought about the 3, goes into Hines. Leans in, draws the contact. Good, strong move to the basket by Chris Hines.
Well, it was the look away that got him the lane on the drive. He looked like he was going to pass it out to the wing. The defender moved that way just a step, and it opened up the drive right down the lane for the 6'8" senior out of Evergreen, Alabama, Chris Hines.
Now Tompkins has picked up 3 for Georgia. He will come out of the game. He has played well, though, here in the 2nd half.
He's been much more aggressive. Looks better with his injured foot, and they've gone to him consistently in the low post out of their half-court offense.
The casual fan listening to the game, watching the game here today, they hear an ingrown toenail, and they think that's probably not a significant injury, but you can imagine how painful that is.
Very painful, especially for a big guy who's putting about 250 pounds on it every time he runs up and down the floor.
Sold out crowd here at Coleman Coliseum. Alabama leading by 3. Leslie knifing in, splits the D, puts it up with the right hand.
Leslie's man went to the low post to help on Price, and when Price kicked it back out, explosive drive right down the lane. Nice recognition by Leslie.
6 now for Leslie, his first basket of the half. Davis, left-hand finger roll. Left it short, out of bounds to Alabama.
Watch this. On the double team, you see that Steele is late getting back after helping inside, and as he does, there's the knife right through the defense, and Travis Leslie is going to have to step up his offense with Trey Tompkins out of the ball game here in this 2nd half.
So many scoring options for Georgia. It's what makes them so dangerous. 3 guys in double figures, and Price is close at just under 10.
Plus, Georgia's the only team in the league, Clay, that has 2 players, Ware and Gerald Robinson, that each have over 100 assists on the year. Great passing backcourt.
Steele was stripped and fouled. And that's going to go against Gerald Robinson, number 1 on him. Who is going to be the most dangerous team in that SEC tournament, in your opinion?
Well, I like this Georgia team a lot because they've got a great balance of strong inside play and great guard play and shooters, and Leslie, the athlete's kind of the X factor. But I'll tell you, don't discount this Mississippi State team. They've been through a lot this season. They're starting to play a little better here at the end of the year. Had back-to-back road wins last week at Arkansas and at Tennessee, and they have a lot of success in SEC tournament history. They've played in the championship game the last 2 years, winning it in 2009.
Rick Stansberry so scrutinized, especially back in December when it looked like things were just going to completely fall apart. If he can win the SEC tournament, holy cow.
That would be a story, without a doubt.
33-31, Alabama on top. Under 14 to play. Georgia with an eye on the second seed in the East. They turn it over here. And Alabama playing for postseason hopes as well. They lose here today, Joe, and their chances for an at-large bid go away.
Yeah, they're right now. Joe Lunardi has Alabama as one of the first 4 out of the tournament. A loss today would damage their chances even more.
Davis, third 3 today. Did not get the travel call. Leslie, foul. That's Relaford. We talked about Joe Lunardi, his last 4 in, his first 4 out. There you see Alabama at the top on the out list.
Yeah, and if any of the first 4 in, Richmond, Boston College, Michigan, or Clemson, if they lose this weekend, you know, one of the other 4 could slip right in. Alabama with a win today over 35th ranked Georgia would probably improve their RPI maybe as much as 20 points. And would definitely, in my mind, get them into the at-large conversation.
We showed it to you earlier. The RPI coming into the day for the Crimson Tide, 89. And the strength of schedule, 161. That's the one that really hurts. Leslie.
Good job by Leslie of recognizing that the smaller Trevor Relaford was guarding him. So he drove Relaford to the basket, knowing he could jump up and shoot over him. Relaford tried to reach in to compensate and fouled.
Leslie makes it a 3-point game, 36-33. Davis trying it again from 3. Comes up short this time. Rebound. Poked out to midcourt. Relaford runs it down. Takes it right to the rack. That's his first basket of the game. Robinson, good pass for Barnes. Offensive foul called on the Dogs.
Well, we talk about the defensive prowess of Tony Mitchell. We're going to see him in a minute. But watch Tony Mitchell step out front on the drive by Robinson and take the hit. That is an unselfish defensive play by one of the better defenders in the league, and Tony Mitchell gives Alabama the basketball.
You mentioned it in the first half, Joe, that he could be your defensive player of the year right now.
Well, I like him, Trey, in that spot, and a lot of debate, but a guy who steals the ball, blocks shots, and takes charges. And scores at the rim. How about that, Mr. Matvick?
And a 3-point opportunity coming up for Tony Mitchell.
Right down the lane, draws the contact, uses the banking board with emotion. He's going to go to the line. And this Coleman Coliseum crowd, 15,000 strong, is on their feet.
Alabama, which trailed by as many as 8 in the first half, has opened up its biggest lead of this game now. It's 7. And we take a look at the Cellular South Conference call. Alabama, which has locked up the West, could win a share of the SEC regular season title if they win here today and Florida loses at Vandy tonight. That would happen. They would both be 12-4.
If all the home teams win today, if Alabama beats Georgia at home, if Vandy beats Florida at home, and tomorrow if Tennessee beats Kentucky at home, a lot of ifs. But if the home teams all win, guess who finishes second and gets the second seed in the East?
The Georgia Bulldogs.
No, actually the Tennessee Volunteers would slip up in a tie, but they would win the tiebreaker. That's kind of amazing. It shows you how close those 4 teams are heading into this final weekend.
Georgia Bulldogs 9-6 coming into this game here today. That was the third traditional 3-point play of the game. And now the difference is 8 points.
And Georgia with 2 freshmen in the game in Marcus Thornton and Dante Williams. And critical time, and good job right there by Gerald Robinson getting to the backboard and drawing the foul. That was a big play when Georgia needed it.
We're under 12 to go here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama by 8.
Al Purnell here, the sausage man. We all like to save money, and have I got a deal for you. Start with a roll of Old Folks Country sausage. Watch me easily slice and remove the wrapper. I like to cook the whole pound, or use our convenient sliced patties and have some cooked for later. Microwave the tasty Old Folks gravy and serve with eggs and biscuits. An Old Folks Country sausage breakfast, you can feed 4 for just under $7, because it's good.
$50 a month for car insurance.
Switch to Direct Auto and you could get car insurance for just $50 a month, even if your credit is less than perfect. Call, click, or stop by and you could start saving today. Direct Auto will do right by you.
College football fans really get into it. We paint our faces, decorate places, plaster cars, have rivalry wars, throw tailgates, cover our mates, shed some tears, shout victory cheers, do the wave. It's what fans crave.
As a big fan of the SEC, I really get into college football. So do these little fans. We're all into it.
Mascot wear. Get into it.
I'm Chris Keith. At Watermark, Collin and Keith, we are dedicated to helping you get the justice you deserve after an accident. We have fought for the rights of folks in over 30 states throughout the country. That includes fighting for the rights of folks right here in Alabama, the place we live, work, and raise our families. If you've been injured due to the fault of another, call us for a free consultation. Call Watermark, Collin and Keith at 1-800-JUSTICE. Fighting for justice, one case at a time.
Clay Matvick and my partner Joe Dean Jr. here in Tuscaloosa, 41-33 tied with under 12 minutes to go. Joe Dean's List, all SEC team here on the final day of the regular season.
These 4 guys are all in the conversation, along with maybe Chris Warren from Ole Miss, who didn't make this list, but John Jenkins, Chandler Parsons having a great year for the SEC leading Florida Gators. We're watching Trey Thompson today. Terrence Jones, one of the top freshmen in the nation. Jermichael Green have a sensational year on my Dean's List All-SEC team.
Green had 12 at halftime. And here you see the defensive player of the year. We talked about Mitchell. Anthony Grant for your coach of the year.
Yeah, and you know, you could make a case for Billy Donovan at Florida, who's never won the SEC coach of the year, which is amazing, as successful as he's been with 2 national championships. Of course, Anthony Grant worked under Billy Donovan at Florida, but I just think the job that Anthony Grant has done with this team, putting them in a position today to get a share of the SEC title, has been amazing, and he would be my selection for coach of the year.
Anthony Grant looking on as there's a foul called at midcourt and a a warning. A warning is going to be issued to Mark Fox.
Yeah, and I like that. I like in an emotional game. A lot at stake today. The coaches are going to be into it. Don't, you know, as an official, let yourself get too emotional. Give the guys a little leeway here, and Lee Cassell did just that, warning Mark Fox on the sideline.
Robinson now with 3 fouls for Georgia as Green gets his first point here in the second half. You know, Mark Fox has a lot of SEC ties. Maybe one of the reasons he's been such a good fit here in short order for Georgia.
You know, while Mark Fox was getting his master's at Kansas, he was serving as an assistant coach at Kansas State under Tom Asbury, who was the head coach at the time. Tom Asbury left Kansas State and came here to Alabama to be an assistant under Mark Gottfried.
His Bulldogs trail it by 7. They've got it with 11:20 to go. Gerald Robinson at 16 points Wednesday night against LSU. He's been held to 4 in this game for the Bulldogs.
Alabama has shut down the Georgia guards, Ware and Robinson.
Green with the steal, but then he throws it right back into the hands of Ware. Georgia has numbers. Robinson tries the up and under. Williams throws it up, no good. Tipped up again, and a trip to the line coming up for Leslie. 3-point opportunity for Travis Leslie.
Well, we talked about Travis Leslie's ability to get to the offensive board, and Georgia just showing their athleticism, playing volleyball around the rim, and Leslie is opportunistic right around the goal at 6'4", athletic enough to get it in and finish the 3-point play.
More bad news for Alabama. Green picking up his 4th. He'll head for the sideline.
That's a killer for Alabama. 11 minutes to go. There's a lifetime left in this basketball game, and your leading scorer, best inside player, has to go sit down. That is not good for Anthony Grant's team.
Hines is in there for Alabama. Scenario Hillman, Davis, Relaford, and Mitchell. That is the 5 for the Tide, which has their star player, JaMychal Green, on the bench. He's the leader in points and rebounds at 16 and 8. Hines also playing with 3 fouls. Green has fouled out 4 times this season for Alabama. Davis will put a little medication on the wound for Alabama. That's his 4th triple today.
We talked about Alabama averages a little over 5 threes a game, and the last time that happened was done by Charvez Davis in a game we had here against Mississippi State when he hit 5 of 8. Hadn't done it since, but is on track right now to do it again for Alabama this afternoon.
He was 1 for his last 16 from outside the arc coming into today. And he's hit 4 here this afternoon.
Seniors step up in big moments.
Leslie, jumper, got it. Nice touch for Travis Leslie.
I tell you what, he is so good. He is so talented. If he develops a consistent outside shot, look out. Travis Leslie, just an outstanding athlete and tremendous basketball IQ.
Davis, can he do it again? You bet. Davis, 5 of 10 from 3. He's got all 5 of Alabama's 3-pointers. Georgia will keep it.
Well, Charvez Davis, we talked about, can Alabama make 5 threes in the game? How about Charvez Davis knocking down 5 threes in the game? Step back right there. That's actually a 2. But Charvez Davis of the Alabama Crimson Tide plays a little string music to give the Tide an 8-point lead.
That's the way to go out on senior day. Here's Price. And he is fouled. And that's going to go against Hines. And that is the 4th on Chris Hines, also an Alabama senior.
Now, we've talked about the senior from Montgomery, Alabama, Charvez Davis. You see his numbers, amazing. 17 points. You mentioned, Clay, that he came into this game 1 of his last 16 and has 5 3-points in this game. His season high earlier against Toledo when he had 6. But the senior stepping up big for the Crimson Tide.
Speaking of seniors, here's Jeremy Price, a senior for the Bulldogs. And the other night in his last home game against LSU, after the game was over, Jeremy Price went to the center of the floor, kneeled down, and kissed the G.
Well, I like that. He's from Decatur, Georgia, just outside Atlanta, Columbia High School, and big fella is had a nice senior year and a big factor to why Georgia has won 20 ball games and on the cusp, if they can come back here this afternoon to get the 2 seed in the SEC East.
Relaford muscled that one in. Relaford now with 4 here in the second half. He was scoreless at halftime. And Alabama has opened it up to a double-digit lead. Great hands by Relaford.
That's a mismatch against Leslie. trying to out-quick Leslie, but Leslie's got the size advantage on him, and Leslie wants the basketball.
Ware, long three. Yes! Oh, my. And a timeout called by Mark Fox.
Timeout, Georgia.
Second three for Dustin Ware.
A 30-second timeout.
So Georgia, after the basket by Ware, Mark Fox quickly calls the timeout. What's he talking about with his men?
8 minutes to go. He's down 7. He's been zoning almost the entire game. So he's probably asking his guys, we want to come out and grab a man-to-man. The zone has not helped us to get the lead. So I would suspect we're going to look at him challenging his guys to play the man-to-man and come back with their bread-and-butter defense in this ballgame.
Hey, Alabama fans, plan your trip to San Juan, Puerto Rico for the 5th annual Puerto Rico tip-off. It's the 17th through the 20th of November. Some great teams on that list. Go to PuertoRicoTipOff.com for more details.
Well, that's a very good tournament feel right there.
Temple on that list, one of the teams that beat Georgia, and that really doesn't look like a bad loss. Like we said before, Georgia doesn't have an awful list on its resume.
They don't have any bad losses at all, and Georgia's definitely in the tournament, no doubt.
Nice move, and the finish by Tony Mitchell. He's in double figures now with 11.
Both teams are in the bonus, so they've got to be careful. Keep your hands off, move your feet. Don't put your opponent on the foul line.
Price had it swatted out of bounds by Mitchell. Charvez Davis, he is 5 of 10 from three-point range here today, and it's part of the reason that Alabama has a 9-point lead.
Yeah, Clay, everybody knew that this guy would be the key, and for Alabama to beat Georgia, you got to play some string music in Coleman Coliseum.
145 years of financial stability, and still no one knows the Sun Life Financial name. That changes today.
I hear you're the clown in charge.
So, Cirque du Soleil becomes Cirque du Sun Life. Because Soleil means sun.
Hey, you got a I'll
take that as a yes.
Sooner or later, you'll know our name, Sun Life Financial.
What is a win?
It's about the perfect shot.
It's beating the guys.
It's playing with my father. It's more than what happens on Sunday afternoon.
It's shooting your age.
It's shooting 59 with your sister.
It's meeting my hero. I win with Callaway. I win. I win with Callaway.
Callaway.
Callaway. Callaway.
I win with Callaway. Winners play Callaway.
It's game time. And everyone wants to get their hands on new Crystal Game Time wings. The best wings in the game. Hard-hitting flavors and winning taste make any time game time. New Crystal Game Time wings. The meatiest, juiciest wings in the game. Hands down. Only from Crystal. Try some today. Nothing like it.
The last year has been hard on everyone, but we learned a few lessons. We learned that saving isn't so bad, and that we have to be careful with credit. But at Legacy, we knew that all along. And that's why we've always offered some of Birmingham's lowest rates for auto loans, mortgages, and credit cards. So when you're ready for your next house, car, or credit card, do something good with your money. And get your loan from Legacy Credit Union.
Here's the game summary with 7:36 left. It's a 9-point Alabama lead, but Alabama has some players in foul trouble. Talked about it at the top of the broadcast, Joe. A win today, and Georgia could still get a 2 seed. Alabama needs to win here today to keep NCAA at-large hopes alive.
And the question everybody's asking around the SEC, if Alabama does win this game and Florida loses at Vanderbilt later today, those two teams tie for the regular season championship. Would the regular season champion be left out of the NCAA tournament? Most people don't think so. 12-4 in a power conference play, to me, is good enough to get you in the big games.
But a loss today, a third straight for Alabama. There's no doubt about it. They'd have to win the SEC tournament to get in. Here's Robinson, 9 on the shot clock for Ware. Hit a 3 moments ago, long way from the hoop. 4 to shoot. Robinson almost had it poked away, losing time. Shot clock violation.
Frustrated Mark Fox. His team could not find any penetration against the sticky, aggressive, man-to-man defense by Alabama. They have been doing that all year long, and that's why they're 11-4 in this league and fighting for a championship here this afternoon.
12 turnover today for Georgia. 7 minutes to go. Relaford. Saved by Mitchell, but right into the hands of Ware. And now a foul in the backcourt on Hines, and that's his 5th. That is the 5th on Chris Hines, and the Crimson Tide have just lost a big man.
Well, Anthony Grant's thinking right now that not only was that a tough foul to get Hines out of the game, there he goes, but Georgia's going to walk some 94 feet to the free throw line. And Dustin Ware, who's an 82% foul shooter, will get 2 free throws to cut this lead for Georgia.
Last home game for the senior Chris Hines, and the fans up on their feet.
Chris Hines, a 6'8" senior out of Evergreen, Alabama, right down the road. Came here from Southwest Illinois Community College, where he was a first-team junior college All-American 2 years ago, and he has really played well here in the second half of this season inside for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
So Ware's at the free throw line for the 1-and-1. He is an 83% foul shooter. And he's got another one coming. Chris Hines, you know, when you talk about Alabama, as you see Green coming back into the game, you talk to that coaching staff, and they say that Hines has been one of the most improved players the last couple of years, especially rebounding for Alabama.
I don't think there's any question. He has really used his big body, his soft hands to be a force inside and to really be a complementary player for Jermichael Green and Tony Mitchell, who are athletic inside, but not the physical type players that we're seeing on the Georgia end with Price and Trey Tompkins.
Now Jermichael Green back in the game. He's got 4 fouls. 7-point difference, Alabama on top, 6.5 to go.
And as we talked about, Georgia has gone back to the man-to-man. They want to make sure they have a hand up on the shot and block out every white shirt to keep Alabama off the offensive glass.
Green double team. Relaford cutting to the hoop. Draws the contact. Good vision by Green to see Relaford coming in.
Well, Alabama had good spacing in their offense. They spread the floor. And Gerald Robinson, he turned his head to look at the ball. And Trevor Relaford recognized that. And when he saw Robinson with the turn head, he drove it right to the goal on the cut and got himself open for the pass.
So now Robinson with 4. And a shoe problem on that play. Talked about Trevor Relaford, and one of the better freshmen this year in the SEC, no doubt about it, playing a very tough position for a freshman, the point guard.
Well, no question about it. We've got some excellent freshman point guards in this league when you think about Bruce Ellington and Brandon Knight at Kentucky, but this young man right here, I would say, is probably the most valuable player on the team. Not the most outstanding player, but the most valuable player on the Alabama team from the standpoint of giving Alabama what they did not have last year, and that was a playmaker, a quarterback who can make plays on the dribble for Alabama.
Another one coming for Relaford, and there is a difference when you say outstanding or most valuable.
Right.
We saw it in 2 games for Alabama where his game really fell off, against Auburn, and then the next game against Ole Miss where Alabama lost. He was off his game, and justly, Alabama was off its game.
And case in point this afternoon, I mean, Green has been out with 4 fouls. Hines has been out with 4 fouls. But the constant for Alabama to maintain the lead has been the point guard, Trevor Relaford.
Lead is 9 for Alabama, coming up on 6 to go. Relaford, all of his points have come here in the second half. He's got 6. Interior pass broken up by that stifling Alabama defense.
They changed to a zone that time and deflected the pass to get the ball.
Green spins, lays it in. JaMychal Green, that's his first field goal of the half. Largest lead for Alabama. It's 11 now.
Critical time right now for the Georgia Bulldogs. Alabama's in a zone, and Georgia has got to find some offense here in a hurry.
Robinson for 3. Tipped up and in by Tompkins.
There's the weakness in the zone on the shot. Nobody blocks out Tompkins. They don't have blockout responsibility. Usually in a zone, you block an area, and Thompson found the open crease to tip it back in. Smart play.
Tompkins now with a dozen for Georgia. Relaford, a little hesitation out for Davis. He's been good from 3 today. Turns that one down. Under 5 minutes to go. Mitchell on the baseline looking for help. Gets it out. Hillman for 3. Oh, strong. On the backside, it's Ware to bring it ahead for Georgia. Robinson going right to the hoop. Didn't get it to go. That might have been blocked by Mitchell.
Got a piece of it. Great effort by Gerald Robinson. And he is really upset with himself not finishing that play. That was a missed opportunity at a critical time for Georgia.
Alabama in good shape here with 4.5 to go. Green. Oh, missed everything. Bad miss for JaMychal Green. Oh, going up hard is Price for the flush. It's rejected. Relaford out of control. And Georgia last touched it.
As good as Trevor Relaford is, Clay, sometimes he gets a little bit out of control and tries to challenge big guys right there. He was going to try to take it up over Trey Tompkins. I think he would be better served to slow it up a little bit and wait for his teammates to get into the play so he can dish the ball to them for the easy basket.
You can sense this crowd ready to erupt. They know what's on the line. They know this game's getting long in the tooth. They also know their team is in great shape right now, just ready to put it away.
Let's see if they try to set Charvez Davis up against the zone here for a three-point basket. Here's the screen coming. Green slipped it.
5 on the shot clock. Relaford throws it up. Mitchell can't get it to go. Georgia on the run. It's picked off.
Numbers here.
Davis to Relaford. Got it. And Leslie quiets the crowd at least momentarily.
Was that smart or what? He knew Green could not show any resistance with the 4 fouls, and so Leslie just took it right at Green, slid by him, and laid it in. That was a smart play.
Anthony Grant with a timeout. Alabama by 9, 3:12 to go here in Tuscaloosa. Today's SEC Network game has been brought to you by Sun Life Financial, annuities, employee benefits, life insurance. The Puerto Rico tip-off, November 17th through the 20th in San Juan. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Papa John's, try our new hearty Italian meats pizza for just $11. And by the Principal Financial Group. It's time to rebuild your dreams with the Principal Financial Group. Alabama's tournament resume lacks some punch. They had some bad losses, especially earlier in the year. Iowa at Providence. They don't have any quality wins outside of conference. A loss today would be absolutely devastating to their chances for an at-large bid.
Well, you know, a part of the reason for their soft strength of schedule is the SEC West does not have a strong RPI. And I would say that if you analyze the SEC West, I mean, they've been some big wins by Western teams against the East. Mississippi State beat Florida, the SEC leader. They won at Tennessee. This Alabama team has beaten Kentucky and won in Knoxville. Arkansas, they won in Vanderbilt and have also beaten Tennessee and Kentucky. Ole Miss beat Kentucky. So, you know, there have been some key moments for the West, but just not enough of them to make them a strong RPI lead.
Tony Mitchell with his 4th double-double of the season. He's got 12 and 11 here today. Alabama has the ball, just over 3 minutes to go, leading by 9. Davis tries to go inside to Green, and Price pokes it out of bounds. Timeout on the floor. Alabama trying to put Georgia away in the closing minutes.
It's time to dream again. But why rebuild your financial future alone? For more than 130 years, the Principal has provided retirement, investment, and insurance solutions to help you move forward. We even created a website full of ways to help rediscover your dreams and start planning. Visit principal.com/dreams or ask your advisor about rebuilding your dreams with The Principal.
It's Lobster Fest. The one time of year Red Lobster creates so many irresistible ways to treat yourself to lobster. Like our new lobster and shrimp trio with a Parmesan lobster bake. Our decadent lobster lover's dream with both sweet Maine and buttery rock lobster tails. And 11 more choices, each served with a salad and unlimited Cheddar Bay biscuits. Come celebrate Lobster Fest right now at Red Lobster.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does it take two to tango?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's Truck Month at Landers McClarty Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Bessemer. Why shop us? Selection. We have over 300 new vehicles to choose from. Price. Get our low price guarantee, plus up to $10,000 off on the 2011 Dodge Ram. And peace of mind with a warranty forever. A lifetime powertrain warranty with no deductible, even on new vehicles. The only place in the state you'll get that. Right price, right here. That's Landers McClarty Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Bessemer.
58-49, Alabama on top. We're under 3 to go, Joe. And here's our Geico plays of the game. That defense for Alabama has been good again.
Yeah, they're athletic and they have great hands. You see the rejection right there by Jermichael Green. Watch the block from behind by Green again. And then the strip right there by Tony Mitchell. Alabama anticipation. Watch Charvez Davis, the senior. Interception. Takes it, pushes it ahead, and Relaford with the nice finish around Trey Tompkins. Defense leads to Alabama offensive baskets.
Relaford fires it in for Davis. There's 14 on the shot clock. The senior gets it inside for Green. Got it off the window. Beautiful play for Alabama.
Hard to handle one-on-one in there. No double team by Georgia. Jermichael Green against Jeremy Price. The junior from Montgomery delivers.
They've allowed just 49 points today, well below the average opponent.
Three-point shooter, 83% at the line, leads the league in assist turnover. He has just been a tremendously steady guard for Mark Fox.
All of his points coming on threes today, Joe. That's his 3rd. And
Green to shoot 2.
So Green goes to the line to shoot 2 here for Alabama. And Green, a 73% foul shooter, misses the front end. The rebounding battle. Boy, Alabama has really held its own here today, in part because JaMychal Green has been good on the glass, and that's an area that Georgia usually dominates. And the other thing, too, that you talked about, Joe, three-point shooting had to be there for Alabama, and it has been.
Well, we talked about in the open that we thought the key for Alabama was to make 5 3-point shots. They've only made a few in the last 3 or 4 ball games, and we knew here in Coleman Coliseum that Alabama's a much better shooting team. Charvez Davis, the senior, has stepped up big with 5 of those shots to give Anthony Grant's team the lead, and especially, Clay, they were key in the second half when JaMychal Green went to the bench with 4 fouls.
And you see the three-point shooting on the road. They've been extra bad.
Abysmal, yeah.
But here at home, not so bad, and certainly today, right on average, and that's what they needed. They needed to at least be respectable here today, and Davis has given them everything they needed.
He's been the key, and of course, after today, Clay, they don't play in this building anymore. Right. So if they're going to go to Atlanta and be a factor in the SEC tournament, if they're going to move on to neutral courts in the NCAA tournament, they've got to figure out ways to knock down perimeter shots on neutral floors.
There's a very good chance these two teams could meet again in Atlanta here next week.
Very good chance.
There's Tompkins bumping with Mitchell, high off the glass, no good, and there's Green for the rebound. He's given a hard time by Leslie, but pulls it away.
Well, the clock right now is the key for Alabama. They will not be in any hurry. They'll run every shot clock down right to the end and force Georgia to have to foul them.
Relaford. Boy, that was a basket he could have made, should have made. Georgia with an opportunity now. Under a minute and a half to go, whereas it poked from behind out of bounds.
It's the one area in basketball young players don't do anymore. They don't use the banking board. If he'd have put that ball right in the square, that ball would have banked right in. He tried to go straight to the rim on the run. That is a tough shot.
There was a time coaches bench players for that. You don't see it anymore.
No.
Use the glass. And Robinson foul. Foul called there by J.B. Caldwell, the official, with a minute 18 to go. And Robinson is going to go to the line.
Gerald Robinson has had a tremendous year in his first season at Georgia, a transfer from Tennessee State University, where he was an all-OVC player there, averaged 17 points a game in Nashville. And he has been one of the impact players in the league this year.
Here comes Marcus Thornton into the game, a true freshman out of Atlanta, as Price sits down. Thornton, Mr. Basketball in the state of Georgia last year. He's got a brace on his arm. He has an infection in that arm, trying to protect it. Full court pressure here by Georgia kind of relaxes now. Just over a minute to go. Safe to say here, Joe, this is Alabama's game to lose.
No doubt about it. Georgia's not going to foul here. I'm a little bit surprised. They need to stop the clock here. I'd foul Andrew Steele.
Mitchell has it, backing in. In and out. And out of bounds. Who's got it? And it belongs to Georgia. The Dogs get a break with 47 seconds left.
Georgia down by 7. They don't necessarily need a 3, but a 3-pointer would really give them some life right here if they could knock one in.
They turn it over. Mitchell rolling in. And Leslie poked it out of bounds. They're going to say Ware committed the foul first. And there's 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, the frustration by Mark Fox with the basketball down 7, didn't get a shot attempt. That's the kind of thing that gives coaches gray hairs. In Alabama, again, with their quick hands and deflections all day, they have held Georgia in check. Only 54 points this afternoon so far.
So Mitchell on the line. Georgia has 1 timeout remaining. This is a good foul shooting team, Alabama. 72% as a club.
Yeah, anything over 70%, I think any coach in the country would take that And Alabama, as we've talked, is not a great perimeter shooting team, but for some reason they're pretty effective at the free throw line.
So now both teams with a timeout remaining as Anthony Grant takes his second to last timeout. If the season ended today, this is how the SEC tournament would shake out. What stands out to you, Joe?
Well, the potential Georgia-Alabama rematch, I think, would be something special. And Kentucky, if they could beat Auburn in that first game and play Mississippi State, that's a rematch of last year's championship game in Nashville that went to overtime. That was an absolute thriller.
Well, Florida's at Vanderbilt tonight. If Alabama wins this game and Florida gets beat in Nashville tonight, that would mean that Alabama would share the SEC regular season title at 12-4.
Yeah, Clay, and I tell you, for that young man right there, Anthony Grant, in his second year here of rebuilding this Alabama basketball program, to get to 12-4, to have a chance possibly tonight to be co-champs of the SEC, that is monumental for what he and his staff and these players have done.
Three-pointer on the way. Tompkins hits the three, sore toe and all, stopping the clock with 31 seconds to go. It's a 5-point game.
Not over yet. College basketball, it's March Madness. 31 seconds and a 5-point deficit out. Georgia will press here. Key for Alabama, take care of the ball and make free throws.
Tompkins, who averages just under 16 points per game, now with 15 on the day. There you see how the game sets up right now with just over a half minute to go. 5-point game. Georgia's out of timeouts, but they do have the possession arrow on their side.
Well, right now, this is the type of situation that every team works on. The last 2 minutes of the game, time and score, handling the ball when you're ahead, under pressure, taking care of it, getting the ball in the hands of your best ball handlers and your best free throw shooters. If you're behind, denying the inbounds pass, trapping the ball, trying to force some steals, and then when it gets into the front court, commit the foul to stop the clock.
There was a missed opportunity in Nashville earlier in the season for Alabama. That's why they want to take care of business here at home today. The road has been tough at times for Alabama.
Well, it has, and Alabama actually led with 27 seconds to go in this game, and a missed call there on the bump against Jermichael Green. Outraged Anthony Grant. And he's back here this afternoon on the verge of what could be a special season for the Crimson Tide.
That's one of the reasons that Alabama is on that proverbial bubble here tonight. If they take care of business that night in February, they're probably in okay shape right now.
I would agree with that, and they had the chance.
As it happens, they've got to finish this one out, keep those at-large hopes alive, and now they'll come back to the other end to shoot free throws. Leslie picking up the personal foul.
Andrew Steele is 71% foul shooter, 20 of 28 on the year, was out throughout the non-conference with injury, and he is at the line. A young man out of John Carroll High School in Birmingham, won a couple of state championships there.
You talk with the folks around this Alabama program, and after he missed those first 13 games, when he started to hit his stride, they thought Alabama was at its best.
Well, Chris Stewart, the play-by-play voice of the Crimson Tide, will tell you that one of the more valuable additions to the Alabama team in the second half of the season has been Andrew Steele.
Robinson can't get it to go. Green, the big rebound for Alabama.
Please stay with us till the end of the game and for a few minutes afterwards for a special presentation. Please stay with us through the end of the game.
And Green to shoot. Anthony Grant, a star player for the Dayton Flyers back in the 80s. Did a great job as a head coach. Got his opportunity here in Alabama a couple years ago, and he has turned this program into a title contender.
Yes, he has. And it's kind of neat that he was recruited to Dayton by Dan Hipsher, who was an assistant at the time. And when Dan Hipsher became the head coach at Stetson, he gave Anthony Grant his very first college coaching job. And Anthony Grant now has made up for that with bringing Dan Hipsher back here as an assistant at Alabama.
Leslie, no. saved by Green. And that's probably going to do it. Georgia's going to back off. Huge win as Alabama goes undefeated at home this season. 16-0. Here's our Direct Auto Insurance celebration of the game. With amazing rates and great service, they'll give you a reason to celebrate too. And this Coleman Coliseum crowd has had reason to celebrate all year. 65-57 the final. We're going to be back in a moment to talk with the head coach, Anthony Grant. For now, we go to the studio. Kevin Connors and Kyle Mason.
All right, Clay, thanks so much. Good look at Rodney Clark, the reigning SEC Player of the Week.